Welcome once again, my friends, to the work in progress that never ends. The show is Major League Sorare on Sorare TV. I'm one of your hosts, TrippinB, and it's great to be with thee once again. I am here. Let me set the scene for you a little bit. I'm here solo, but never truly alone. But I'm with y'all. And that little laugh in the background may have given away something too. It's a late night on a Wednesday night here as we get ready for game week 381 in Sorare. Weekend slate. And I'm watching LAFC and Houston play. You might hear a little bit of the faint noise of that in the background. We'll let that sort of be our natural scene set as we go through Major League Soccer and Sorare here on this week. So what we're going to do this week, DraftKicks couldn't be here. Unfortunate. Always busy, that guy. If he's not busy, like managing the careers of up-and-coming young superstar soccer players, which he's spent a lot of time doing, he is busy just drinking himself into oblivion and getting huge hangovers and being unable to gather his thoughts coherently enough for an episode. And I've been there too. So today we got going late, and so I invited a special guest. I do want to have some breaking news here. I don't know if you can tell, I got a new light in the setup, so it looks a little bit brighter here. Maybe people said I need to get a better camera. They said the only critique of the show was that my camera shot was a little blurry. Hopefully a little light helps with that. If not, I don't know. Probably it's better for me to be blurry, to be honest, but we'll bring in this guest. It's our man Zardes Fan Club, Jake, out in Cali land. We got some East Coast, West Coast thing going on here, and it's late night for me. It's not late night for you. Welcome back to the show. And you're here to perform a very important service on a very special episode, my friend.
Always love calling in the backup quarterback.
Exactly. Yeah. Shane Falco, the replacements. Classic, one of the greatest backup quarterbacks of all time.
Or like I'm a John McCarthy.
Yeah, well, one of the great backup goalkeepers who not much he could do to stop Houston's goal here tonight. We're watching in the second half here on a late Wednesday night for MLS midweek action. And you said you turned the game off because LAFC was down to Houston. Did you turn it back on while I was doing my long?
I never actually turned it off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, emotionally, I've turned it off. I've turned it off. Yeah.
Well, if you hear a rising crowd noise, that means something happened here. Otherwise, we will focus on the task at hand, which is Major League Soccer. So welcome back. We are going to call this a very special episode because it's the TrippinB Gallery intervention.
Yeah, it's an intervention.
It's an intervention because
you
I have
need help.
You think I need help? Exactly.
You legitimately need help. So you asked me to guest appearance today around 10:30 my time, 10:30 in the morning. I immediately said yes, and then I kind of asked like what was the plan was, and you said help build your lineups, which I've offered before to help build your lineups.
Right, exactly. That was the genesis, the germ of the idea. Yeah.
So then I started that, and then all of a sudden I looked up and it was 2 p.m. So I spent.
And you had not built any lineups, right? Yeah.
No, exactly. I built no lineups. I didn't even start. I clicked Joe Willis, and then I stopped. And I was just, I was in your history, your Sorare data pay. Your gallery.
How did he get this sweet sunburst Joe Willis card?
It was like an episode of Hoarders.
Okay.
Like the TV show Hoarders. That's what I felt like. Like I felt sticky when I closed my browser. I don't know why.
No!
There's just 10 Harrison Awfuls really everywhere for no reason. It's so much clutter. Yeah, we'll get into it. For those camera, I literally took 4 pages of handwritten notes here that we're gonna get into.
All right. Well, let's look at my sweet Joe Willis card here, and what was it that inspired you about this awesome number 44 of 100 Player of the Year special here?
Well, it was just the best goalie of the game. When you linked me to your page, I clicked goalie first and saw Joe Willis. That's where it started. But then I thought, well, let's look at his results because I'm making your lineups. Let's see. Kind of, I can see
what
patterns.
I got with this stupid card. Yeah, this card, as you can see, it has the stink of Zima Blue and Pavel Trader on it. So there you go. Have I won anything with this damn card? Alex Mazzia, former owner. These are my winnings right here.
Mm-hmm. So what I did was I went back and looked at like your pattern of lineups. I remember you saying last time, or one of the times I was on, you said something where you asked me about how I build my lineups, and you're like, man, like some night Thursday night I'm drinking, like I come home and through. And I'm like, you can kind of do that, but then that's impossible with how your gallery is set up. Like you are not giving yourself any chance because there's so much clutter. Of course, you're gonna miss things when you have like 10 awfuls, and then you have absolutely no synergy in your gallery whatsoever. There's no cohesion. There's no vibes.
Wow, no vibes. That hurts. That come on. You can tell shit on my results. You can say bad things about Harrison Affle, but to say I have no vibes,
you have Charlotte vibes, which is good. It's like personal, which is good. I'm not going to tell you to get rid of the Charlotte things. I'm definitely going to ask you to clean up. Like, why do you need 10 Harrison Awfuls?
I'll show you why. But yeah,
there are like 3 good players on Charlotte. You could get duplicates of those instead of the bad ones. I guess
I'll explain. I'll at least explain myself, and people can determine what they want. But we're looking at the gallery now. So
I did not look at your limiteds whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah. So there's nothing to look at. Trust me.
It's just too much to start. I don't know how you do it. So the very
I just always do the limited last. Yeah. I just do.
Right.
Yeah.
So I saw
it's like its own category.
I saw your win history. And you can kind of, if you want to pull it up on the screen as well, your very first win was game week 170.
Sure.
Which
what a time it was.
It was in May of 2021, which is about 2 months after you started. It was your first win. It was third place. You won Julian Alvarez, who was a banger.
Yeah.
During that game week, you entered 5 lineups. You entered all the D4. I have it written somewhere. Yeah, you did D4 back when it was D4. You did Div 4 America, U23 Asia Gas, and you did Div 3 America, and they were all good lineups. So you had 5 lineups going on May 2021. So in total, 37% of your gallery value is via your rewards. And so like that's combined 37%.
It's not the worst, right? I mean,
not bad at all. So 37%, and you started in game week 170 in May of 2021. So for comparison, just so like I'm going to validate myself in terms of why you should be like listening to my advice.
Pat yourself on the back.
Like I'm not just like an anybody. So I'm basing my advice here. So it's going to sound a little braggy. It may sound douchey. I'm sorry if it does. So my stats.
That's what you're here for.
60% of my gallery value is rewards 1.
Beautiful.
95% of those rewards have been in the past calendar year when I decided to stop literally only entering for threshold, and I decided that I wanted to like try to win rewards.
Beautiful.
So what I did was I bought the end of May last year, pretty much almost a calendar year. I bought Jesus Ferreira, and I bought Maxine Krapau. And the next game week, so I only had 2 lineups going. I had my gas lineup, and then I had a throw over in America, and they were good. Like I had good cards. And then I bought Jesus Ferreira so I could enter U23, and I had all the other U23 good. Like I had a good team, just missed the forward. And then I podiumed. I won gas, and then won second place in U23, my very first entry with my new cards. So then I started.
That's not bad. That's the start of a snowball.
Right. So the snowball started, and then I won like a reward next week, and then I won gas again 5 weeks later with 3 of the cards I won from combining my first win rewards. And like
rewards win rewards. That's the name of the game. I love it.
Right. You have won 140 total in your 2 years. I have done 120 in 1 year.
I love it. Congrats. It's a beautiful thing.
Just so it's just I want you to trust my process, right?
Right. That's why I'm getting
pretty. I'm going to get critical. I'm going to get critical. So I hope it's enjoyable for those at home to dive into it. So I have some philosophical questions for you to start.
Okay.
One of which is, are you against buying good defenders?
No, I'm definitely not against buying good defenders.
Okay, so why don't you have any?
I mean, I think I have Kevin McAllister and Lucas Villalba are pretty nice, right? It's not the worst.
MLS defenders, you have Donovan Pines, who's great, but you're not.
Yeah, Pines is not bad. Yeah,
you have no bias against defenders. Like, you don't think they're bad in SO5 or anything, that you just don't.
No, certainly not. No, exactly.
Okay,
I usually try to play double midfielder lineups instead of double defender, but I mean,
that's kind of what I was getting.
That's
kind of what I was getting at, is terms of I don't believe in putting two defenders in one lineup.
Yeah, so Alexis Pena is a great card. He's going to get a transfer to a better Liga MX team. I have some good defenders. Who would you like to see in the gallery? Because I can also get rid of some of these guys. You can see some of the ones I just keep around are rewards.
So that's on the end of the notes, is when I first I'm going to tear you down, and then I'm gonna start building you back up with solutions. Or I'm going to give you a game plan to end this, so you're not just shaking. So second philosophical question is, so there's like a train of thought. I know Bob Saget in the Discord, he'll love this if he watches it. He's like a differential guy. I don't know if you some people come from DFS, where you try not to have like the quote unquote meta cards to try to.
Sure.
So it's like, you think if
contrarian, yeah,
right, a little contrarian. He thinks that he's like XP is behind, so if he has the good cards, I'm putting words in his mouth, but this is how I understand it, that if he has the good cards, like, he's not going to win because his XP is lower, so he tries to like go for Kansas City, or he like tries to go for San Jose. Like,
he doesn't have the best Buonga cards and the best Carlos Gil cards XP wise.
Even if he does, he sells them.
Yeah.
When they, but he has a smaller gallery, which once again, you can absolutely succeed with a smaller with two rare lineups is what I had, and then it just rolled. But the if you stick to the correlation, stick to the vibes, like, you can do it with two rare lineups, that type of thing. Okay, so that's good to know. You don't believe in, like, you're not like set in being like contrarian.
Not necessarily. It's not like I have to be contrarian. No, not at all, for sure. I mean, I'm contrarian enough with all my Charlotte cards, that, so I'm not that alone can get me contrarian, I feel like.
And then are there any lists that you're on that prevent you from scouting U23 players and not entering U23 lineups?
Just that I don't want to pay the premium for a goalie.
Okay.
If I would want to get Celentano because I think he's the best, and I've actually won decent amount of like U23 rewards because of just in the summer of 2021 I played U23 pretty hard when Alvarez was playing for River Plate, but then my Korean under 23 goalkeeper aged out, and I just I didn't go back to the well and go get another one. So yeah, I figured because under 23 was so competitive, a lot of the really big players were like going so hard on that, it just was waste resources. I'll tell you, like, so my whole thing was I made the decision in April of it. So I was playing, I don't know if you can look, I made the decision in like April of 2022. Or really, like, I made the decision like February, March of 2022 that I was going to like go big on Charlotte FC cards, because I was like, hey, I'm huge on my new club.
Awesome.
I'm super fan. I'm going to be a collector. One of the first people that like just intentionally set out to spend a bunch of money for collecting. That's why I have 10 Harrison Athol cards. I can show you. So like if you look at this tab, I don't know if I've ever shown you this, but this is my Charlotte FC boys checklist. And you can see, like, I have like 2023 rares, 2022 rares. And then, so I started collecting Charlotte cards. If you ever saw, I did an episode where I explained a lot of this with Andrew Laird one time on the Sorare Data Show. But Brant Baronico 2020 card was my first ever Charlotte card. He was their third or fourth signing, maybe second signing, actually, now that I think about it. He was in the first 5 group. So I bought his card. And I was just trying to get, even before the club launched or whatever, I was trying to get like old guys. So so I amassed like a certain amount. That's how I ended up with some Harrison Affles and the McCoons.
So when I go
the
through
Derek Jones and the Shinishiki cards and whatnot.
When I go through your gallery and who to clear out, I don't include any. I was aware that you do that. I don't include
exactly.
Charlotte guys.
All these cards right here these guys are no longer on the club. That's one thing to keep in mind. And so so I have my own personal reasons for collecting Charlotte cards. Obviously, I actually don't really like having Harrison Affle on the squad that much, but I wish we could kind of upgrade that position. But it is.
I think the Charlotte's awesome. It will help, like in the long, like it helps your gallery. Absolutely, having the Charlotte card. But
someday
I'm going to challenge you on your U23 thing, because you have double the gallery value of mine, and I enter U23 and I do very well in U23, especially in the summer when the points are lower for MLS. So you absolutely have the means to enter U23. It's one of the first things I'm going to advise you to do is go for that.
Everything but the goalie, man. They took common goalkeeper also out of D4 back in the day.
Chris Brady is very affordable at 0.4, and you can win with Chris Brady.
All right.
And once again, with how many guys I tell you to clear out, you're going to have a big chunk of ETH to rework. In theory, if you follow me. Obviously, you don't have to take my advice, but what I would do. Okay, so another question is, do you enjoy watching MLS games outside of Charlotte? Like, are you watching? Do you get enjoyment from? Are you because you're always at the games?
Yeah, so I'm watching LAFC Houston right now as we record this. Yeah, exactly. I love MLS. I used to play hardcore DraftKings MLS. I still do dabble every once in a while when there's outside of a Charlotte window game, for sure. That's why I wish there was a Friday night games. Wish there was Sunday afternoon games, for sure.
So are you watching Argentina games?
Oh yeah, for sure, most definitely. I watch Argentinos Juniors. I watch Racing Club for sure. It's on Paramount. It's fun. The announcers are hilarious. Like Argentinos versus Velez, I think the other night was just one of the worst games I've ever seen. It was the last game of the game week, and it was horrible. Mm-hmm. And the announcers was openly calling out how bad it was and saying, "This is putting us to sleep. This fucking sucks, man." It was great. So I like the Argentinian league. Yeah,
I've watched them on occasion when it's like I have a good card in Americas and they're the last game, and I need to see if I lose. I want to watch it with my own eyes. Okay, so that's good.
I used to watch a ton of Liga MX. Now I don't watch quite as much. I watch my Tigre stack a lot. But I would say I watch more Argentina than Liga MX now, to be honest. So.
And I absolutely think that's the most important thing of Sorare, because if you think of this as an investment, it goes nothing. The card values are not I'm here to play and win and watch rewards the games. I'm not here to sit. If I wanted to sit and treat it as a really investment and sweat every dollar, I'd buy a 401k. I'd put it in a 401k.
Right.
So I think that's really important that you are I'm paying for enjoyment when I entered, and it's continued enjoyment. I think that's really important. I see a lot of people miss is they're worried about every dollar, when what you should be worried about is the amount of fun I've had watching. Never in a million years would I watch Argentina games or anything like that, or put myself through Salt Lake, Colorado at 10 p.m. on a Wednesday night. So
preaching to the choir there. And that's why I don't have Asia cards. I sell any Asia rewards just because I can't bring myself to watch that league just for the hours. If I was a lot younger and less responsibilities in life, I would probably love to do that. One of my greatest soccer experiences ever was staying up all night, every night, to watch the 2002 World Cup in Japan and Korea, obviously. So I would love to be able to do that, but I can't. So I don't.
Right. I have a Saka, the Hiroshima goalie, and I'll watch his games at 11 p.m.
I could do an Asia goalie. I'll scout the Asia under 23 goalies if there's any worth getting. Yeah.
So this is at the point where I highlighted intervention time. So I have dead weight in my gallery, and it's I love the U.S. men's national team players, and I have a lot of the U20 players, so I have a lot of them that aren't giving me SO5 utility, but I love collecting them. I think it's great. You have such a large portion of dead weight other than Charlotte players in your gallery, so you have a lot of cards that aren't that are just kind of sitting there but aren't cohesive. They aren't doing anything. So a main common thread here is like you got to cut and clean out a lot of this dead weight. Keep your Charlotte dead weight. That's awesome. It's great for the gallery. As I keep my men's players, it's like fun, really keeps my enjoyment, right? And
Gotta have
a
the
bonus
exactly.
is a lot of you do have a great Charlotte stack in there in multiple divisions, so it's not even like that's dead weight.
Yeah, so let's take it from the top then. We're now looking at the gallery via the roster.
We're gonna start. I only focus on America.
You mentioned my gallery value, by the way. I will humbly say, I'm obviously hiding my roster valuation. I'll humbly say I might have one of the least productive SO5 30 ETH galleries on the site from anyone who plays seriously. I'll sadly accept that dubious honor because a huge part of that is these uniques, man. I'm telling you, like this is a huge, like Yordi Reyna unique and McKenzie Gaines unique are not that you talk about dead weight. That's some pretty expensive dead weight. So a lot of my gallery quote unquote value does come from that. But
I can carry on. I can fix you. I can with what you have. I can fix you. So I only looked at America's, your dead weight in America's.
You only looked at America's? Okay, cool.
You most likely
I have some horrible European dead weight as well, trust me. But from just like early days of starting on the platform, I have guys that like I would easily get rid of, but I got them like so super cheap that it's just like, let's see what happens in 2 or 3 years with those guys. But yeah,
still, it's America's. If they're not doing anything for you now, and you're not like emotionally tied to them in the way you are Charlotte, like they gotta go.
Wow. Let me get the limited.
Like, it's not helping you. It's not like the selling now for if he's cheap compared to like the what if in 3 years. That ETH you get now, well, because you have so many of those little players that even's like 0.01 here, 0.03 here, 0.05 here, that even if they end up at 0.4 or whatever down the road and they like have these great careers, that you have that much ETH now that will help you win these rewards now, to where you can just go buy them in the future when they start having a good career.
I think it's fair advice.
So I start with deadweight Americas.
We're at the bottom of the list here.
Bottom of the list. So I started with goalies. And I started with your blues first. So only super rares and only Americas and goalies. So Stuver, hate aside, as much as I hate Austin, we don't have to get into an Austin hate on this appearance. So as much as I hate Austin, Stuver has nothing to stack with. There's absolutely no cohesion with Stuver. Stuver has not won you anything, but a couple weeks ago you got 5th, and I wrote that even a blind squirrel finds a nut.
Here's my boy Stuver, man. He's a great goalkeeper and an even better man. I do love myself some Brad Stuver. Hasn't ever won me anything. He won me. I mean, he's won me. He won me Yamar. He won me Yamar. He's won me second place.
We also get to your Yamar. We'll get to that Yamar win as well. So you have no correlation with Stuver. You're just lone wolfing him.
Because I think he's one of the best AA goalies in MLS SO5.
All right, so if you look at his SO5, I believe it's 19 games this season. If you click 6 months, you can click 6 months there. So if you look at this, he's had, I think about half. It was like 10 that are 50 plus that will help you, and then in terms of like tier 1,
9.
No, okay, so I gave him more credit.
Yeah, he might be. He did have 150 that counts.
Right. That's so the 63 is okay. It makes it hard for a high, like you accomplish it with the 63. Like it's not going to kill you, but he did that if you scroll back up. But otherwise, him actively like improving you has happened 3 times with the 85, the 70, and the 67. Is really where he's like been a difference maker. And you have nothing that core. So it's 3 out of 19. Which isn't bad, but there's a lot other goalies to where if they also have 3 out of 19, you can at least secure another spot that helps you win. So if Stuver had like a defender that has some sort of even like a 30%, 25% stack rate where they both hit 60 plus, then you're optimizing your Stuver to like when he has a good game for it to happen. So it's less one-offs. Like I gotta have this guy in a good game. I have to have this guy to have a good game. 5 times.
Cascante could be the guy now that he's back. You know, I mean, he kind of rolled good with the decisives lately, but
rather like if you get like Philly defense at home, Andre Blake and Jack Gillier or whatever defender, now that's only one outcome you're rooting for compared to 5 different ones. So now all of a sudden it's 4 outcomes. And then you put a mid and a forward together, now it's only 3 outcomes. So you want to lower that as much as you can outcomes wise. You want the least amount of things to root for as you can. So then especially as you're watching, I don't want to enter all these lineups.
You're talking about you want the least amount of needed outcomes.
Correct.
You want the least amount. You want the most amount of possible outcomes, but the least amount of needed outcomes. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Clarification. Yeah. Sorry.
So we'll get into that more, but once again,
red card LAFC, by the way.
Yeah, I saw it out of the corner of my eye. So that was a great win with Stuver, but it was, if you pull up that lineup, I don't know if you can.
Sure. I can.
But it was 5 random. That was game week 376. So if you go to your Sorare results, like in the
that was game week.
Or no, go scroll.
You want 376? You want 280?
I want 376.
All right.
But I want you to go TrippinB Sorare result. Like click TrippinB.
No,
in the top,
I'll get there. You keep talking. I'll get there shortly.
TrippinB Sorare results. And then you can just hit 376. All right, there you go. So 376. Here's your lineup. I described it as a blind squirrel. I mean, Donovan Pine should have had a 100 that game week. That was a ridiculous error to goal. So that would have been even crazier. But
yeah, that would have been, I think, 4th place.
Once again, no correlations here. Like, this is just 5. I guess you played home games. Did you do that intentionally?
I think I always play home games for sure.
You clicked 5 at home, so that's a good thing. But otherwise, there's nothing like feeding off of each other here. So your next win after that was 365. So if you go to game week 365 in Cap 220. Cap 220. So this is a really great lineup.
Good old Cap 220. Yeah.
This is a really great lineup that you entered. Like,
you can always bust one in Cap 220.
Your stack worked, right? This is exactly what I'm saying. Like, you took Charlotte at home and they won 1-0, and there is 2 out of 5 cards sorted.
Yeah. And then got 6 decisives.
Right. And then you got decisives out of the other 3, but that's such a huge starting point.
Amazing lineup. Last lineup I built, obviously, as anyone would tell you.
Yeah, but that's such a huge starting point. So then your win after that, 362. I described this as a midweek, and you clicked what you had, which was Tigris.
Beautiful.
Right? Clicked what you had.
Yeah. Well, Tigris was bought for this purpose, was to play these midweeks for sure.
And then your win before that was 346, and it was also a midweek click what you had, which is Tigris.
Yeah. I bought these guys in December with the express purpose of like having some midweek unique, sort of utility where they.
So great plan.
Paying you, obviously.
Great plan, paid off, and those were your 2 out of 4 big results.
Yeah, could have had a few more for sure, unfortunately.
Even so, you said you entered 220 last, but it still had togetherness. Like, it still had some.
Yeah. And I didn't enter it blindly. Yeah, I did. I entered it last, but not blindly.
I have my gallery set up in a way to where even my academy lineups have correlations.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So it's really not thrown together. So that's like ideally what you want to have all the way through. Even if they're not as good players, at least make them correlated, have some cohesion.
This great squad.
All right. So if I have, so then I said, if I can point to one transaction that sums up maybe why you haven't had the results for your gallery value that you might expect, is you won a blue Yamar.
Yeah. What a time that was.
I believe it was game week 280. So you won a Yamar in game week 280.
Okay, I'm headed there right now.
You sold him.
Yeah.
You sold him for, I believe, 1.7 ETH.
Sounds about right.
The person you sold him to has won 3.7 ETH worth of cards with that blue Yamar.
Well, hey, what can I say? He had a Seattle. He bought him to fill out a Seattle stack.
if I
don't
want
know
a
how
blue,
deep you went into like how he won all these rewards, but yeah.
But once again, if I want a blue Yamar, I'd go buy a rare Frey, or I think I'm an MLS guy. This is a prime MLS card. It's going to help me win. I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm going to this is great for my guy.
You
This
want
is the
Sifu,
snowball.
Vargas,
This
Lucho.
is the snowball I'm talking about, right? In terms of like getting things going. So the snowball should have been off at this point, like off and running. Like you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. 7-1-22. Let me find out what I spent that ETH on real quick as you keep talking, as you keep chastising me.
We should have established a safe word before if I started going.
I have thick skin, trust me. And
just say pre-court 3 times.
You can always disagree with my reasons, but there's always at least some kind of reasoning behind most of these decisions.
And at the very least, I hope it's entertaining. So then other blues that I just described as total dead weight. Pochettino.
Tomas.
He's got no. It's just you got like a bunch of trying to like think of a. It's almost like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but they haven't. There's just a bunch of random creepers, all sorts. They don't mesh. Like, how do they come together? Like, they don't have a leader. They're just kind of out there, but they have nothing to fight for either.
Okay. Keep going. So I'm liking where this is headed.
Even if they're on their own. So Pizarro, or I'd take a loss on these players. Like, even if when I sold all my limiteds to the limited merchants, I just wanted to sell them and get a big lump, because with that lump, you can really do something that then wins you more than the value you're losing in a short-term trade, because you absolutely have a lump that will be able to win you more than what you lose like in card value. So
so here's the cards we're talking about: Pochettino, Pizarro,
right?
Piet, obviously.
Saldana, Godoy, Wilker.
Oh,
Angel.
So forgive me. I don't know. I don't want to give away the story here, but Saldana is merely. I'm holding him for someone who wants to play super rare kickoff, and so is stashing 2 like dead super rares he had in my gallery, so that he only has 1. Yeah, Saldana's not even my card. I would not hold that. Yeah,
Jackson Ewell, Andres Reyes.
Oh yeah, Ewell's got to play. Ewell's got to play. Come on now.
In what, cap 240?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine to have 1 cap 240 blue midfielder, but with how much you can create, I think you can still get cap 240s that like synergize with how much you have. So those were the ways. Forward wise,
Augusto, I just won. I will sell this guy for sure, by the way.
Right. Savarino. Oh, I even put Antonio Carlos on there too. But Savarino blue. So he's one of these lone wolves that you want to have.
Let me answer a couple things before you move on the floor. Okay. With midfielders, Pizarro and Pochettino kind of just like fill in spots, and Leao also just kind of like fill in guys while I waited for Reynoso to finally get here and for Pereira to finally start playing. So obviously these guys are my showcase mids that are playing in main lineups finally for the rest of the way going forward. For defenders, if you don't like Carlos or Reyes, I'm kind of stuck. I mean, Godoy's good, but he's hurt. Pena will be coming back in about a month. Nkosi's great, but hardly play. You know, it's tough to tell. He doesn't hardly play, but he's always a risk for a surprise sit out, which is always dangerous. So
this is what I'm saying in terms of you must tear it down before.
This is what you're talking about. This is why you think I don't like good defenders.
I mean, the rares as well, but the point being is how many good lineups? So what do you enter?
I enter America D2 with my Swiderski unique.
Okay.
And I'll finally get my Kuruho unique. By the way, selling that Yamar blue is what got me my Guzman Kuruho unique. So I mean, it's it is what it is. You can say that's a bad investment, but that was a hard investment, at least for sure, no doubt. Because it was like a week and a half later, so I wouldn't have won the 2.1 ETH that I needed within the week and a half with him. But what was the question? I talked to myself. I started making
what lineups do you enter? You're entering
D2. America D2. I'll do super rare, America D2, Champion America D2 with Swiderski unique, and usually like the Stuver, and then like it'll be Reynoso, maybe Savarino, although I usually hold Savarino for a rare pro.
Okay.
I'll have my Savarino super rare for a rare pro. And then, so I'll fill in with like, sometimes Jose Martinez will go in there. But now, like I said, Reynoso, sometimes it'll be either Carlos or Godoy. Godoy was doing great. Alexis Pena was going in that.
I'm not concerned in where so I've seen where you're entering. I'm just like your priority is not about the cards.
So what? Yeah, the priority that I build in would be like Champion America D2. And just like fill out my favorite like Swiderski unique lineup.
Right.
Then I would go.
So
then I would take a look at All-Star Rare Pro versus Cap 240 Super Rare and see like which one is more realistic. And if like I don't have a realistic scenario to a Champ America D2 and a Cap 240 Super Rare, I might decide like, well, I'll actually do Cap 240 this time and I'll sit out this Swiderski unique, even though I hate to do that. So then. I am getting my Guzman Corujo unique back finally, by the way, from injury very soon. So then I'll try to do All-Star Rare Pro and America Rare Pro and then Cap 240 Rare. And then just kind of go down the list, All-Star Rare, depending on goalkeeper situations, Champion America Rare, Cap 270, Cap 220.
Okay. So I think that once you get through all the waste, you can do D2 America. You can confidently do 240 blues with some smart trades. You have so many extra blues, and also like you have more Charlotte players that play. Like you can put Swiderski in the blue as well. Like that's not an issue, especially with that. So I think you'll be able to do D2 America. I think you'll be able to do super rare 240, and then I think you will be able to have blues for America Rare Pro and All-Star Rare Pro.
Those are my priorities. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I have it. You say I have a lot of blues. I really feel like I don't, but
counting Guzman, Savarino, Stewart.
Yeah, it'd be nice when Tigres come. When Liga MX comes back, I have a lot. I'll say that. How about that?
So the three highlights I have as definite keeps is Savarino. He's a lone wolf you want because he scores great, but he doesn't necessarily like have anyone correlated to him. But he might with the new guy coming in, Ranka.
You gotta love a lone wolf that you want, of course.
Right. Reynoso is another lone wolf, but also he has top bins. So he may not be a lone wolf for much longer. He may soon have a pack. He may soon have a pack.
Sign Pookie. Let's go.
And then Pereira you have him as a lone wolf, but he's not a lone wolf. He needs a pack.
I agree with that. Pereira's I agree. Pereira's not great to have as your second best super rare mid. I would agree. Or rare mid. If you're by the way, if you're watching this, hopefully it's not too self-indulgent for anyone. If this is enjoying just watching Jakey like taper down, but just think if you're at a lower level of buy-in player, just like just compare this limiteds to rares. Just think of it.
And not only that, but like the more and more in like the lineup construction, like thinking through how your gallery works. Exactly. Pereira is great if you pull up his scores. On his own, he's not a lone wolf, but if you can make him better by getting like when he scores this 81, when he scores that, especially in super rare, like if you're throwing in cat modes.
He's had a hard time getting going. Every time he gets going, he gets hurt. This year it sucks.
Like Erkin Kara, somebody like that. I would probably move from Orlando, but he's okay for now. I would rather get him help. Like
trust me. And he's always he's always a threat to like. He did sign a new contract, but he could go back to Uruguay at any time and just play
So if you click stacks for him on Sorare data.
Okay.
Scroll up or down maybe. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, you're good. Yeah, stacks. So
you even maybe Facundo, maybe
like you can plan on putting him in like America Rare Pro and put him with Facundo and or like a Facundo Rare and an Erkin or something like that, some sort of correlation. So that's it for blues. Now we're on to your reds. And once again, you can totally restructure your blues because I listed 1, 2, 3, Pachetto, Pizarro, you're keeping Soldana, Godoy, Wilker, Angel, Jackson Ewell, Andre Reyes, Cecilia Dominguez, Alan Franco. Like that's plenty to work with.
Yeah, I have to keep Frank. I have to keep Alan Franco, by the way. Just side note, quick little tangent here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're freaking So Rare Canada, trade me the Charlotte FC Alan Franco for the fucking Atletico Mineiro Alan Franco. God damn it. We've been talking about this for a year and a half now.
It's like the guy holding me hostage on the 1 out of 100.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
like
it sucks I can't sell Alan Franco. Unfortunately, he sucks for Talleres now.
If only you had Alan Franco Fan Club as your name, then try to trade it from him.
Yeah, he was my favorite
really
player
would have no chance.
Charlotte for sure, but yeah. So all right.
Okay, you have 97 Reds.
I'll see what I can come up with in terms of a package for those guys you named.
97 Reds, 71 are MLS.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start with goalie. One, why do you need 3 Cisnegas just for the Charlotte?
Yeah, just for the checklist bullshit, unfortunately. Yeah.
So as you can Kalina is good on Kalina.
Also, so actually, I could get rid of some of these Cisnegas. I don't need 3 rare Cisnegas. It just turned out that way because I got these for cheap when I realized he was going to be starting. Like I got these in the preseason. And then unfortunately he lost the job to the third stringer, the guy who was the third stringer. So I didn't really get too much payoff on that investment. I got 3 games out of him, but I could get rid of 2 of these for sure.
I dumped 2. So you have Kalina good stacked if you stay on these rare red goalies. So Kalina good. That's great. Willis, you have no one with him. He needs a friend. You absolutely need,
especially because I have Mukhtar. That's a great call, and I have a Leal super rare. What the hell am I doing?
Either and notice Leal was not on the junk list. I think he's a great player.
He should be coming back. Yeah.
So you need a home, either Zimmerman or Jack Mar home. Absolutely, don't even think about going with Lovitz. He's a terrible player. He's washed. He's on the hate list.
Wow, the hate list makes its appearance.
Gillespie, you kind of have a pair with Antonio Carlos, but that is really not working. I would keep Gillespie kind of as just like a cap goalie, like your one kind of lone wolf goalie where he does get good scores, kind of in the Stuver role where he has good scores, but he's on his own. But there's really only room for one of those in your gallery for the cap modes. So either your Stuver or your Gillespie. I'd absolutely send Stuver. I think Gillespie has much higher ceiling. And once again, blue Antonio Carlos is not doing fuck all lately. And then you have Stuver again, who we talked at the start. You also did with the blue. He's got no friend, and there's really no friend to have.
Yeah, Cascante's not bad.
And I think there's better.
But I mean, Austin's just horrible this year. Yeah, I agree.
So
I believe Stuver's a great lone wolf goalkeeper because I think he's very good. He always gets 10 plus AA. So it's just like
you got too many lone wolves that need.
As long as he doesn't surrender the 3. Stuver's going to get you a good score. I know you said he's not helping when he doesn't get 60 plus, but I mean, some of those games he's in cap modes and stuff like that. So.
Even then, you could sell him and get Chris Brady for just a little bit more ETH, and you're entering U23.
And be playing U23s, yeah.
And U23 scores are far lower to get into. Like
that's fair. That's a fair advice. Yeah.
So I just think it's money well spent elsewhere.
All right.
Okay. Defenders. Oh, and then you also have the Argentine. You have Gasson Gomez. You have Guzman, good because you have him paired with Samir. You have João Ricardo.
Stack, and then this guy,
I absolutely would sell, without even thinking back, I'd sell Gasson Gomez and João Ricardo. And
Ricardo has a friend, Tinga. Don't sleep on Tinga. Tinga's a goat.
I'd also get rid of Tinga. I'd get MLS guys because you know the league and they're going to sync with the rest of your gallery. If you have this part like Argentina, kind of maybe you'll get like a midweek every once in a while, but when you're winning these midweeks, it's because you have the full Tigres. Like they're cohesive together. Your Argentines are kind of one off. You can mesh your gallery a lot better, and especially when you're towards the end and like your cap 220, your cap 240, like if they're all MLS, kind of some cohesion can kind of go together. Like it can kind of like just spur up naturally on its own if you all stay in like focused in that one league. So I absolutely would move on from both of those for I do have some suggestions later for what it's worth. You have a lot of backups but none of the backups are for the starter goalies you have. So I'm a big fan of handcuffing, because if you
Mm-hmm.
lose Andre Blake, like, you got Bendick and you don't really skip a beat. Stephen Frey, like, you got Stephen Cleveland. So Frey is a big one that would really advise you getting, especially because they're getting a lot of clean sheets. I'm talking fast because I have so much, and like I'm trying.
Yeah. We've covered a lot of ground here. It's all right.
Defenders, you have so many duplicates. Like, why do you need 2 James Sands? You only need 1 James Sands.
Oh yeah. I can get rid of Sands. Unfortunately, is kind of like, he's like a club history type guy, just because like he reminds me of a great mistake I made in Sorare one time long ago. So yeah, I keep these as a reminder to myself to stay humble and not be an idiot.
That's why I keep my Kenneth Kronholm.
Yeah, but yeah, I could easily get rid of one for sure. I've played them both. There's been game weeks where I've played them both though. So there,
So you have the 2 Argentina defenders, which are your best defenders, but they don't sync with anyone. And I think really the most important thing you can do in Sorare if you're trying to win is stack defense goalie. And I went into that.
I think that pays off. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there for sure.
The 4 and
it
5,
is tough to say, like, they're my 2 best guys, so that's the only issue. So, and their goalie, their coach, like, took their goalkeeper Lanzalotta got benched, and I didn't have him, so that actually I dodged a bullet on that one. But yeah,
I'd sell him in a heartbeat. Okay. So what did I say? Tigris. Okay, you get big thumbs up from the Tigris on lots of times here. You also have 2 Brazilians with one, I guess you said, has a connection, but otherwise I dump the Brazilians too. Dump the Brazilians, dump the Argentinians, unless you have an Argentina team you really like, and then get a stack from them. But I would still stick MLS, just because I really do believe in the long run it turns out better. And I just have the word disaster written, not sure why. More defenders. So dead weight defenders. Tap in the rares. You have Tapius, Mbazo, Ian Murphy, Colmanac, Pineda, Arega.
Yeah.
I would say keep Reyes, maybe, if you plan on entering U23, but you don't have a keeper. So I don't know. I would probably repurpose his ETH. Nuhu you can keep because he's absolutely electric. He's just a vibe guy in the gallery. You like the Dallas guy, Nikoski? How do you say his name?
Nkosi Tafari.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's a good one to keep, and also, like, that's a pair with Payas, and then you have like a pair that you really like emotionally as well. So that was another thing there. Nahar, I don't know why you have. I guess because it's a cool card, so I can understand.
It's my only 2018 card. Yeah, I gotta keep my 2018.
And
I won this. I won a 2021 and traded it for this straight up. So I mean, it's no harm, no foul.
Absolutely like that. And then Pines you also have as a keeper. So look how many rare defenders you have.
Yeah, I got them mixed in with the mids here.
And I highlighted 4, maybe 5 as keepers. So that kind of gives you an idea of how much you're wasting.
Pinesy.
And then your Charlotte defender stack as well is good.
No love from Melanda. Yeah, I think Tapias is okay. I mean, he's been useful to me.
But once again, like, in terms of like capitalizing,
Pineda,
if you get Dane St. Clair, then maybe keep Tapias. But I do think
this is a lesson anyone can learn from this idea of attachment, where it's just hard to like say goodbye to a guy like Pineda, even though he's a backup. Zan is injured. Xavier's a level 20 card. He's like one of my greatest. He's like he's a TrippinFC legend. Like he could someday find himself playing again somewhere. So I don't want to give up on him necessarily.
I can't stress how much the 0.01s will add up. Like they truly do.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Obviously, I don't want you to cut any emotional time. I'm as
Ian Murphy. Ian Murphy can go, and Mbazo can go. Tapias can even go. Their rewards. Samir just got transferred to Brazil from Tigres, so he can probably go. Pena, I'm waiting for his big move. Yeah. Defender needs some work for sure.
So mids, I said Tigres good, but the other 2 Mexican leagues can go.
Hayton.
No need for them. I already asked, why do you have 2 James Sands? Adson.
Why not?
Is an example of a guy you won. He has no connections, but like he's 0.05.
Yeah. Might as well sell his ass.
Right. And then I'm guessing
U23 though. I mean, but still for like a year and a half.
So I'm guessing Moreno and Fabrizio or Sentimental?
No, Fabrizio I could sell for sure. I actually might get
because they were both racing.
Moreno stays because he's just a goat, but Fabricio's got to go. I have crazy selfish reasons. So, do you want to know why I'm going to sell Fabricio Dominguez? It goes back to my collections tab right here, which has it goes. See, has a 2022 Charlotte Limited, 2022 Rare Charlotte Limited, 323, 23, 2022 Super Rare. Then it goes Rossing, then it goes Charlotte Unique. So I need to sell the Rossing cards so that Charlotte Unique like jumps back ahead. So my first 6 are yeah. So
absolutely. Yeah. So then the mids I like to keep Ferreira for what did I say? Wait, is this good or bad mids? Oh no, Ferreira, Pardella, Garcia.
Matty Garcia.
Yeah,
Paradella. Yeah. These guys.
Yeah, those as well.
Yeah, Paradella rewards that can go for sure. Matty Garcia is actually good. He just got hurt. Dorsey, I've been trying to sell Griffin Dorsey. Yeah.
Even
Ferreira, Luciano Ferreira. Yeah.
And also the ones like you list right away. The still 20 stuff. You gotta cut that's a fallacy. Some sunk cost fallacy in your head of like.
Yeah. It's more emotional than thinking there's value there for sure. But Cerrillo can go. I never play Cerrillo. I never play Luis Diaz.
And even these little guys that are chunks, like you can list if they don't sell, combine them to the traders.
Yeah, no doubt.
Even if
just not something I've done a lot of, but it's time to start doing.
I do that a lot where I'll win 3 rares in a game week, and I'll take a loss in value, but I'll get 1 card I really want from Pavel or Hiss or whatever.
All right, let's do the forwards real quick, just so we can continue. Just completely self-indulgent.
Right, good mids are Zella, Haney, Reynoso. Paradis is fine for a capped, and then 1 Sands, and then Bryce Duke's okay for capped, and then get rid of literally everyone else like Roldan, Rusnak, Lavia.
Wow.
I would. Forwards, so you got Bins, top Bins, good for capped. Savarino, good, and then Swiderski. Those are really your 3 playable cards there, and you have some sort of Carroll link ups.
Yeah. Vargas set pieces under 23 forward.
And then I said hate aside, Driussi is really handicapping you. He's a lot of ETH, and I think you can repurpose it well elsewhere, especially because his ceiling is somewhat high, but so much of his scores were carried by a decisive and negative AA, and I don't think his decisives are going to keep up. Just because Austin just isn't as good. He
Austin's
also
struggling.
A forward lone wolf is harder to have. It's a lot easier to have the mids as your extras. So it's you stack a mid and a forward together, and then you have your Charles Gill or your Reynoso that are solo in your extra spot. You don't really want 2 forwards in your extra spot. So now if you have Driussi in, you doubtful that you have 2 mids that are that strongly correlated. I can't really think of 2 great mids on the same team. So now you have your defender stack, but you don't really have any defender stacks currently. So Driussi is guaranteeing that you have 5 different things you need to root for. Am I making sense?
Yeah. No, I get it. I see what you're saying.
So if you don't have Driussi in there, you can get a forward that matches with one of these new mids you get, and then now you have a goalie and a D stack, and now you have a forward and a mid, and then you already have great lone wolf players to fill in as an extra, and you're done.
Yeah,
we call that really analysis. Really easy to click through. So that, all right, and then now we're into we're into the positives.
I have to buy
we're done. Wolf. We're done criticizing.
We made it.
We made it through. So number one priority would be the vibes, the coercion, just in general. I said walking into your gallery was it was like a hoarder's show on TLC. I mean, we went through that. That is a lot. That is a lot of stuff that you can gallery. Absolutely clear out. So clean
Never
house.
Sell.
I would absolutely clean house, tear it down. And even then, when you're tearing it down, you still have you're not going to be slowed up in entering. Like you're still gonna have a lot of lineups.
Oh
to
yeah,
enter.
no doubt.
So I would say consider exiting limiteds, just because it's clutter.
I've definitely thought about that. Trust me. Yeah,
it's hard.
It's almost like I've missed the wave though, because like too many people have already like exited limiteds and talked about how much they loved exiting limiteds.
Limiteds are fine, but like for your budget,
it's like too late for me.
For your budget and your gallery value, I think it's clutter for you.
I started off playing just nothing but Charlotte FC limiteds, and and then it just kind of rewards came in and stuff.
Once again, that's not a statement on the platform or like on limiteds in general. A lot of listeners play limiteds. That's awesome. That's great. But when you have, when you have 90 rares, I don't think limiteds.
It's hard to focus on winning at the limit. Yeah, exactly.
And you only I'm
putting myself at a disadvantage against the people that are focused on limiteds for sure.
Right. And also when you speed enter on Thursday night, it's even hard. Like it's that kind of, it just takes time like that you don't have. Like you have a big gallery.
I'll never sell Odegaard though, or Rodri. Those guys are goats.
So when I exited limiteds, I did at the start of the season, and like the limited merchants would like message me and like ask for like 0.002 off, and I'd be like, no, like I just decline, I don't care. And then they messaged me after and be like, you're taking a loss on this card, ha ha ha. Like I sold my Galise and I bought limiteds when they were high, and I took a loss on every single one of my limiteds. And I had a guy with like a $200 gallery like shit talking me for losing $50 on a limited Galese. So that's the type of, it's just bad vibes. It's just bad vibes. So number 3 main focus is fix your goalie D cohesion. If you don't listen to any other thing, that will make the biggest impact. Just that. If you don't even message with anything else, just in the future, if you don't sell anything, but just in your future coming in, like you can, like that will make the biggest impact like immediately. Is that.
Wow.
I think your
first trying to make mental peace with selling Brad Stuver. It's hard.
Yeah, your first easy baby step, even for this week, is just like buy Mar.
Jackie Mar. Yeah, I might have to. Yeah. We mentioned how this started as a lineup building exercise, right? If I show my my lineup builder here, I don't have any defenders. I have Donovan Pines and then nobody else. McCoon's not going to start, right? We don't think.
So that
Carlos
could be.
is out one.
I think the one lineup I did was Willis. You said you had some ETH to buy, Mar, Mukhtar, Leal, and then I said try. Pavel has the blue teal Bunbury.
Yeah,
and I think that's a great fit.
Let's send that gallery right now. Yeah,
not only just for that, but also for the fact of if you think of you're playing Super Rare 240, Bunbury I wouldn't keep to the end of the season, but right now with him and Leal in Super Rare Cap 240 is like that can win you a card. You get to 300 points in 240 blue, like you win another blue. So all of a sudden, if they hit a decisive, you're halfway there.
All right, so I think we're gonna send the trade for Teal Bunbury here for my Renato Ragusto award I just won.
Yeah, so I think he fits really well in your gallery at this moment. So then, under the goalie D, I have suggestions, and also any scarcity for those listening. These are just good suggestions just for your MLS galleries. So I say keep Galese as your lone wolf 240 goalie. I would look at Tyler Miller for Pines because you have Pines. I would look at Martin Payas, Dallas for
Tyler Miller. Shocked me the other day when I saw how well he was doing on AA too. He's kind of like a Stuver. He's Stuver-esque in that regard.
I know you like Nikoski. How do you say his name? The guy in Dallas. I know you like him a lot, so I think Payas is a good. I see you talking him up.
His DNP'd made me like him less. I liked him a lot more when he was not getting DNP'd. Yeah.
So still a good shout. A budget option that I think's a great option. Coincidentally, they just podiumed everywhere. Is the Steve Clark and one of the outside backs, and you can get those total for like 0.24. And then even then, if you saw him towards the end and you take a loss, like he goes down to 0.15, at this point he probably will win you more value than what you may lose by him in 2 months.
Yeah, I've recommended Steve Clark to so many other people. I should have him. To be honest.
Yeah. you have gallery value for Blake Elliott. Also Frey and Yamar, because you already have the handcuff for Stephen Frey, so it's like halfway there. You have the Cleveland already.
Freymar, the Freymar Republic, what a stack.
So Freymar, Blake Elliott maybe is lower priority because that's a big chunk. And
I used to have Jack Elliott. That's my. I'll tell you what. You highlighted my Yamar sell. Did you dig deep enough to find when at the start of the 2022 season I had Nuhu, Arriaga, and Glesnes Elliott, and I was like, I'm going to get rid of one of these stacks and keep the other one.
I didn't notice that, but Jack Elliott was in your first podium.
Yeah. I got pretty good rewards with Elliott and Glesnes in 2021. Yeah.
So then mid forward synergy, once again for anyone, but also for you, because if you clear this out, I don't think you realize you should calculate after the show how big of a chunk of an ETH selling 80% of the floor. Mm-hmm. So look at all those garbage players, total them up, and then look at 80% of the floor, and it's gonna be massive. And then you can probably still get more than that on a lot of them. So Cucho for your Zella, that's a big, of course, big price tag, but once again, it's within your grasp. Rubio and either Cole,
I won't touch him. I won't touch Rubio, but I do like the Cucho show.
It's a good combo. It's a good option. I see them winning a lot of potential, and they're on the cheaper end of the high-end stacks. Insigne or Sario. Insigne also good as a forward, just to have as the extra free space card, which is how it's going. And Asario is on the cheap side right now, so that's a potential combo. I have Benteke or Taxicarius Fountas with Klitsch is another kind of hot one. If you look at their scores, they're doing really well together. You can do Gazdag. It disgusts me to recommend this, but because once again, I'm not going to say it, right. But
don't tell me to sell Driussi and buy Gazdag. That I can't take that for. They're the same.
But at least he has a combo, which is another good stack there. For U23, the NYCFC U23 forwards, great mid combos there.
Kerwin Vargas all day. That's all I need. Trust me, he'll be fine.
Once again, it's good to have you can run him all day, but you're gonna want more U23 options. I have a lot of U23 options, and the New York.
You just told me it was free rewards in U23.
Yeah, you still want to stack. You still want to.
The same basic principles apply. Kerwin's a good lone wolf. Kerwin's a good lone wolf because he just has set pieces and he just always sends balls in the box.
Okay. I would, even if he's 18 or whatever, I'd rather put him in a lineup with Carroll. Like that.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
They work well together.
So NYCFC U23 forwards and mids. And then I put a specific note, don't get cute with the lowest offenses in the league, like Sporting Kansas City, the least goals scored. Even if they're appealing and they have good last five, some of them, it's just not worth it. The ceiling isn't there compared to the rate at which a Ronan and Diego Rubio, especially Cucho Zello and Insigne Osario, a Philly and Redacted, even Benteke and Klitsch, those are at different levels than the SKC.
Polito just had 7 goals against Austin FC.
Right. I wouldn't go there.
No, I don't want to. I don't want Polito.
Don't subscribe, and that's all.
I want nothing to do with Polito.
We just made it through all 4 pages of notes.
We wow. Pour me a drink, bartender. Amazing. Thank you for building it up after you tore it down. I like a lot of your suggestions. I think ultimately the hoarders thing is what kind of hits the hardest in terms of. I would give the same advice to a lot of people in terms of just get rid of the day weight in your gallery, but maybe can't even follow that advice myself in terms of holding on to a lot of stuff myself. So,
I mean, your win rate would skyrocket.
Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want the win rate to skyrocket?
And if you aren't winning,
gotta do something.
Viewers watching, if you guys aren't winning, think to yourself of. Oftentimes, I bet it's because you have 5 lone wolves.
Yeah.
All of my lineups.
You need 5 things to happen instead of 1.
I have not been blanked all year.
I love it.
I enter 240, 270, America Rare Pro, U23, and Global All-Star, and then Cap 240 Rare. And I've not been blanked
Just keep
all year.
winning, baby.
Oftentimes, I mean, even if it's like a tier 5 and a tier 4, but I'm not getting blanked, and those really add up. So if you're not, it's very possible to win like at least at a 33% win rate or 40%. Like that's very reachable if you stack a mid and a forward, you stack a goalie and defense, you make some sense of it. Maybe you look at the upcoming fixtures, like both this goalie stack and this mid forward stack have home games on the same week. If you really want to get, into it, that stuff I look at like coincide the home games.
I always love to run my full 5-man Charlotte FC stack in Champion America, always, for sure, whenever I can. So
I actually rarely run all 5. Like even if I have 5,
in real practice,
run them all in the same lineup. But yeah,
all 5 is not a usually winning move, but I do it for fun. You spoke of upcoming fixtures, so I popped this up full screen real quick because we've gone so long here. Just quick thoughts on the good matchups here. It's a weird week, obviously, with only 6 games. MLS coming at us. Nashville and DC look to be the big faves, obviously, but New England's also going to go off against a really makeshift Orlando City squad. That win percentage, 52%, that odds, that's going to go up by kickoff. It's got to.
Yeah, I like Nashville. I like DC. Salt Lake doesn't have. They're on international duty.
Mm-hmm. Savarino's out.
Orlando is ravaged by absences.
Mm-hmm. Edouard Leuven is doubtful, I believe, for the national. I
saw that as well.
Didn't practice, so it's all not looking good. And probably New York City Crew will probably end up giving us the best game. So here's the definite decisives from last week. I got blanked. You mentioned KC. I got sucked into the shadowy hot streak, and which now appears to be over. Celentano should have had a clean sheet, but got screwed. Polito went off. Schuyler had some good lineups, and the Polito heel combo did nicely for him.
I've noticed since when I last came on that you kind of have started listening to me in terms of like the out there picks.
Yeah, a little bit fewer. Yeah, for sure. My decisives got a little bit more like locked in for sure. Last week I did great. I had 3 for 3, but this week I went 0 for 3. So one day you're the hero, one day you're the GOAT. But you, of course, participated in some definite decisives for this week. If we let me call up the screen here. If we go back to the last time you were on the show, which was a beautiful thing in game week 372, a couple months ago, you nailed you. If you had a chance to put your conditionals in, you would have gone 3 for 3. I think that's Correct. What we settled on, right? Yeah, exactly. Correct. Yeah, we forgot to note down. You had them written down, and I just didn't note them down. So
right. That was with and without. That was with It was Austin versus Seattle.
Yes,
so obviously not going to root against Seattle. So I had it. If Giassi was in, he did start. He did score.
Yeah,
I believe. So that it is what it is.
We gave you a green on that on the goalkeeper at least. So you broke ground with the first ever conditional picks in the history of the show, and now you're breaking ground again. I know you love to be a trendsetter. You have the same player picked for your goal and assist. How crazy is that?
Yeah. I think he can do it, and he's definitely. I really think he'll get on the board once. So even then, like I'm not going to triple red.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know when you do this. I can't. Like I can't if he just gets a goal, I can't give you green for the goal and yellow for the assist.
Why not?
In this case, it has to be a red because you're calling for 2 very specific. You need if he gets 2 goals. If he gets 2 goals, then you'll get a yellow on the assist, if that makes sense. Right?
I disagree. I feel like you always give yellows for if you put a player in and the other thing happens.
But this is like a cheat using the same guy in both slots.
I'm not the one making the rules.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'll
rules. I'll decide if and when it happens. But it would be great to see him get 1 of each for sure, for your sake. Tyler Miller, obviously a good shout as well. Quickly mine. I think I went a little bit more out there. With these ones, Abobasi, a revenge game though at home against the Timbers. DeJuan Jones just picking on that makeshift Orlando team. I think that he can get in on he'll get the assist for Heel's goal, and then Heel can assist to somebody else.
And outside back is so brave.
Yeah. Well, that's hey, what can I say? It's picking a defender is rare in this game, and at home against St. Louis with no Leuven, no Klaus, no real motor to run their team. Hopefully, Willis can finally get a clean sheet. It's been a while.
I like those. Other than I wouldn't pick a defender because I'm trying, but I don't hate DeJuan Jones. I could see it. I see it.
You know how New England does. They don't do it as much as they used to. For a while, Jones and Bai were racking up assists, but
quick hate-less tangent. Oh my God, I hate Bruce Arena.
Yeah, he's horrible. We all do.
He's taking Josie Altidore off the bench instead of a 23-year-old Juventus product.
Well, they bought out Josie. Josie's out. They bought him out today.
When did that happen?
That happened tonight. Like this evening, yeah, they bought it while you were at the graduation earlier tonight. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
that's
Josie's gone. Yeah,
one step forward. I hope he lands on his feet. He's such an inspiration for the Haitians.
Next step, Charlotte Independence.
In his own words,
so one for sure. So, Jakey, thanks for raking me over the coals. Thanks for jumping in. Vamos, Zardes.
We went so long. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone who listened to this, though, all the way through. It was fun. It was entertaining, at least, to just see me sit here and take it. Good little Comedy Central roast of TrippinB. But the only other thing is Kamal Miller. Last week's video, if you commented on last week's video, you're in the Kamal Miller drawing. Didn't want to do that without DraftKicks being here since he's the one giving away the card. So we'll get back to that. And thanks.